May I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, and Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court, and Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, to the dais. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court, and Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, to the dais. May I request Mr. Kumar Gaurav, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India. May I request Mr. Kumar Gaurav, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India. May I request Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court. May I request Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court. May I request Mr. Upinder Mishra, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India. May I request Mr. Upinder Mishra, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India. May I request Ms. Anjali Chauhan, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to daughter of Justice M.R. Shah. May I request Ms. Anjali Chauhan, Member Executive SCBA, to kindly present a bouquet to daughter of Justice M.R. Shah. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court of India, family members of Justice M.R. Shah,
Honorable
daughter,
Dr. Justice
their
D.Y.
son-in-law,
Chanchur, Chief
nephew,
Justice of India,
Honorable Judges of Supreme Court, Justice Subhash Reddy and Justice Ashok Bhushan, retired judges of Supreme Court,
their son-in-law,
judges from Gujarat High Court, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, Shri Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Ashok Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President SCBA, judges from Gujarat High Court, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General for India, Solicitor General of India, and other officers,
President SCBA,
Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, President Scora,
President
Mr.
SCBA,
Snehashish Mukherjee, Vice President Scora,
Mr.
Mr.
Tushar Mehta,
Devrat, Honorary
Solicitor
Secretary
General for
Scora,
India,
senior
Solicitor
advocates and my
General
fellow
of
colleagues at the
Officers,
bar, a very good evening to
Mr.
you all.
Manoj Kumar Mishra, President
Today we have
Scora,
gathered here to
Mr.
bid farewell
Snehashish
to Honorable
Mukherjee,
Mr. Justice
Vice President
M.R.
Scora,
Shah, Judge Supreme
Mr.
Court.
Devrat, Honorary Secretary
He was
Scora, senior
enrolled as an
advocates and my
advocate on
fellow
19th of
colleagues at the
July
bar, a very good evening
1982
to you all.
and practiced in
Today we have
Gujarat High
gathered
Court
here
for
to
around
bid farewell
20
to
years
Honorable Mr. Justice
and was
M.R. Shah,
appointed
Judge
as Judge
Supreme
of
Court.
Gujarat High Court on 7th of
He
March
was
2004.
enrolled as an advocate on 19th
He
of
was
July
appointed Chief Justice of
1982
Patna High Court on 12th of
practiced in
August
Gujarat High
2018.
Court for around 20 years
He was elevated
and
as
was appointed as Judge
Supreme
of
Court Judge
Gujarat
on
High Court on
2nd of
7th
November
March
2018.
2004.
In his tenure for
He was
more than
appointed Chief
4
Justice of
years,
Patna High Court on
he gave
12th of
numerous
August
landmark
2018.
judgments in Supreme Court. He was one of the
Was
most
elevated
hardworking
as
judge,
Supreme
and
Court
in his
Judge on
court daily
2nd of
not
November
one but
2018.
many judgments would be
In his
pronounced.
tenure for more than
And he,
4
even
years,
after a health issue
he
last
gave
year,
numerous landmark judgments
did
in
not
Supreme
deter
Court.
him
He
from
was one of the
reducing his
most
workload, and the
hardworking
judgments were still
and
coming
in
on
his
the
court
same
daily
scale.
not one but many judgments
As long
would
as
be
you were
pronounced.
prepared in his court, you would
And
get a
even
proper
after
hearing in
health
his
issue
court,
last year,
irrespective of a junior
did
or a
not deter
senior.
him from reducing his
Since he
workload
would have
and
read
the
all the
judgments were
briefs
still
thoroughly
coming on the
himself,
same
so in his
scale.
court the matters would not get
As long as
easily
you were prepared
adjourned.
in his court, you
And
would
the
get a
reason was
proper
that to
hearing in
encourage
his
the
court,
younger members of the
irrespective
bar
of a
to
junior
encourage
or a
more
senior.
matters.
Since
He
would
gave
have read
many
all the
notable
briefs thoroughly
judgments.
himself, so in his
In the
court, the
Constitution
matters
Bench
would not
judgment
get
in the
easily
matter of
adjourned.
West UP
And the
Sugar
reason
Mill
was that to
Association
encourage
versus
the
State
younger
of
members
UP
of the bar
reported
to
in
encourage more
2020.
matters.
9
He
SCC
gave many notable
548,
judgments.
it was held that both
In the
central and
Constitution
state
Bench
legislation
judgment
could
in the
operate
matter
hand
of
in
West
hand.
UP Sugar
While the
Mill
center
Association
retained the
versus
power
State
to
of
fix
UP
the minimum
reported in
price,
2020.
states were empowered
9
to fix an
SCC
advice price as
548,
long as such
it was held
advice
that
price
both
was
central
higher
and
than the
state
minimum
legislation
price.
could operate hand in hand.
It was further held that if the
While the
state
center
decided to
retained the power
prescribe
to
the
fix the
price
minimum
lower than
price,
that mentioned in the central
states were
legislation,
empowered
then
to fix
such
an advice
state
price as long
legislation
as
shall
such
be void.
advice price was higher than the
In
minimum
the
price.
case of small Scale Industries Manufacturers Association versus Union of India reported in 2021, 8 SCC 511 shall be void. It was held that there would not be any charge of interest on interest, compound interest, penal interest from any borrowers who availed RBI's loan moratorium scheme for the period March 1st, 2020 till August 31st, 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Compound interest, penal interest from any borrowers. In the matter of Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma, reported in 2020, 9 SCC 1, the Hindu Succession Act Amendment Act 2005 was upheld to allow daughters to have the same right to Vinita Sharma property as their brothers. Reported in would apply irrespective of whether the father passed away before or after the amendment was enacted. It was also clarified that any daughter born before or after this amendment would be equally entitled to inherit property in the same manner as the son in a joint family, joint Hindu family. He was also part of the latest Constitution Bench judgment related to the Maharashtra case. This amendment would be equally entitled to inherit property in the same manner. Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Senior Advocate and Vice President SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address. He was also part of the latest Constitution Bench judgment related to the Maharashtra case. With this, may I now request Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Senior Advocate and Vice President SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Justice D.Y. Chanchud, the Chief Justice of India. Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, the Judge, Supreme Court of India. Honorable Justice R. Venkat Ramani, Attorney General for India. Justice of India. Mr. Tushar Mehta, Honorable Justice General of India. M.R. Shah, the Judge, Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA. Rahul, Secretary SCBA. R. Venkat Ramani, Manoj Mishra ji, Mr. Tushar Mehta, President Iskora of India. Secretary Iskora. Vikas Singh, President SCBA. Honorable P.H. Parikh ji, 6-time President of Supreme Court Bar Association and 10 times President of Iskora. Secretary Iskora. Other senior members, senior advocates, President of Supreme Court Bar Association, Bihangi, and 10 times President of the daughter of Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, Vishal and Rishikesh. Other senior members, senior advocates, Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, the daughter of Honorable Justice himself described today in the morning that he is like coconut. Most of the members of the bar who felt that he was a nut after he cried himself, and a similar incident has happened in Gujarat. And also in Patna, members of the bar who felt that he was transferred from there, he was in tears. And that shows that he has happened in a Gujarat, great heart, also in Patna, soft person from inside. Was transferred from there. Though many of the members whom Lordship has met during in the corridors earlier, they are also, and he remembers them by name. The moment you say someone, address someone by name, they feel that it means they are being noticed. Earlier, they are also Lordship's father, them by name. Rasik Bhai Shah, he is 93-year-old, mother is 88-year-old. And Lordship takes care of them. Fortunately, during the Garwa time, I was invited in a function and I requested Lordship that if I can see him. I visited his place. He is very great host. Even if you have eaten something, he will offer you all kind of dishes. And I, first time fafda and jalebi and one other, I forgot, sir. You can mention that Lordship offered. And he also told me that how to eat this. Lordship has been additional standing counsel for CBI, Central Bank, and other banks. Lordship was in tears today when Lordship said Raj Kapoor's movie song, that kal khel mein hum ho na ho, gardish mein tare rahenge sada. Lordship, I refer you. Kal khel mein aap ho na ho, chamakte rahenge aap sada. Lordship once in a program said that people have put and repose faith in the courts, judiciary, and the justice delivery system. People have faith and trust mainly only in the judiciary. They come with high hopes. They come to court with considering that the court as a temple of justice. Therefore, it is the duty of judiciary to rise to the occasion and see to it that the faith and trust of the people in the judiciary are not shaken. Lordship, the kind of functioning in this court is happening, I will refer it in the words of Shivamangal Singh Suman. न हार में न जीत में किंचित नहीं भयभीत में, संघर्ष पथ पर जो मिला यह भी सही वह भी सही, चाहे हृदय को ताप दो चाहे मुझे अभिशाप दो, कुछ भी करो कर्तव्य पथ से किंतु भागूंगा नहीं. Lordship has been a great judge in Gujarat High Court. All the hoardings, even this parking of haphazard parking and the cleaning of the street and everything, that was done by the order of Lordship. Lordship has passed an order in regard to pensions. And the issue which was settled, he said that in further, in all the cases, the same order will be applicable, and if it is not followed, the officers will be in contempt. He did a lot for the employees of High Court, and he is being remembered. Lordship was in MCPC, part of the mediation committee, and Lordship in one lecture said that for a good husband, the qualities required is patience and the listening capacity. So anyone who is a good husband, he can be a very good mediator. Lordship is lucky that Madam is there in Ahmedabad for last 4.5 years. So the test of patience was never taken. Lordship, we have seen that when today this Meji Bolu is here, who is MCPC Secretary, Ajvinder Singh is here, all of them, when we approached with the proposal that 250 mediators should be trained, at that point of time when Justice Ramanna, Honorable Justice Ramanna, he has proposed, and Lordship took only 2-3 hours with the help of these competent secretaries, and all these 250 names got trained at Delhi Judicial Academy. Most of them have been mediating now. Few of them, I found them today in MCPC. Few names are left. Prior to coming here, I went to Meji Bolu, and she told me that it will be done in next 24 hours. I am thankful to you, Ms. Meji Bolu. In any such program, if personal things are not talked, then bar also sometimes they feel that what is the fond memories. Though because of the Lordship, none of the family members are in this profession, because they have seen him working hard and they decided that we should be in different profession. This profession is not the cup of their tea. They are architects, and one son is in finance company. Lordship used to go to theaters every Friday those days. That's why I believe that after Raj Kapoor, Lordship did not notice any film star. But nowadays, when I ask the daughter that whether Lordship go for the movie, they said that he does not have that much patience. But in the courts, we all have noticed that you gave a patient hearing to everyone. And in those hearings, sometimes some of the members felt that they are being scolded or being tightened. Lordship also taken care of them, and good orders were passed. Lordship is the highest performing judge today. He has passed more than 712 judgments. My Lord Justice Chandrachud is number 2. So at least in one area, you have bypassed Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, who is the most popular judge in the country. Lordship, I feel that whenever we demand you something, sometimes Lordship may find it inconvenient, may feel that this is not doable, bar is wanting too much. But in most of the demand, Lordship agree. And Lordship say that if I think as a lawyer, if I think as a member of the bar, I have to accept all these demands of the bar. But Lordship always say that when I think about my other hat, that is the chair of Honorable CJI's office, then I have to sometimes reconsider so many things. But Lordship, one thing is there. If we have such a wonderful CJI, then हाले दिल सबसे छुपाने में मज़ा आता है. आप भी ना पूछें भी अगर, तो भी बताने में मज़ा आता है. because we feel that sometimes it will be in your back of your mind and you will be certainly take care of those demands of the bar. Lordship said, and Vikasji always say that the tenure of judges should be increased. I also feel that. But even then, in the lines of Firaq Gorakhpuri, we can say that ये माना जिंदगी है 4 दिन की, बहुत होते हैं यारों 4 दिन भी जीने के लिए. Lordship, there are few issues which now, this is not only the farewell of Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, this is also the farewell of my EC. There will be elections, so we all are in the farewell mood. And at this moment, while Honorable Justice Ashok Bhushan sir is here, who always had taken care of us when he was here, he always taken care of the bar. With his great smile, I will apologize on behalf of our members, our EC members, if we have done something wrong to anyone, especially sometimes, my lord, if we have said something which my lord did not like, I apologize on behalf of everyone. And we deserve forgiveness because we don't have any vested interest. Whatever interest our members have, that is our interest. And we have no other option than to pursue it, request it, and sometimes press it. My lord, I have never crossed any limit, but if someone has crossed, he is also feeling the same, and that feeling is I am sharing with my lords. My lord, there, other than mediations, this committee gave this hall, and that hall was possible only because of Honorable Justice Gawai, Justice Surikant, Honorable Justice D.Y. Chanchud. I remember that day when Lordship visited here. And the functions were earlier used to be in the lawns, now we are having these functions here. And some of the ideas we got from Honorable Justice Rastogi. He is still leader of the bar. We don't treat him, especially when he is outside of the courtroom, he gives that what you should do, how you should demand. Sir, we are grateful for those advices. We are grateful to senior advocates who have advised us, who have guided us. In the building committee, since the day Honorable Justice Gawai was there, I feel that even we don't need to open our mouth. Everything is streamlined. Everything is being taken care of. Lordship, this is not the time when we should make demand. We are leaving the demand making for the next committee. They should also make some demands. Lordship, when deals with the young students, Lordship says that 5 P's are very important. And Lordship also guided many of the students, because I have attended one function with Lordship, one moot court competition. I saw that Lordship is so patient that young students, when they are presenting with full dedication as if he is hearing the matter in Supreme Court, he sat there and he spent almost 2.5 hours in deciding and hearing and guiding those students. Lordship, this committee has taken care of everything, health facilities, so many other facts are there, training, housing, election commission camp, cultural programs. Despite all that, my lord, one fact is there that whenever a collegium decides something, this is the view we have taken, that whenever collegium decides something, government should accept it. Because there are so many issues that occurs later. Recently, this Manipur incident happened. There is no regular Chief Justice. Such states should have permanent Chief Justice because of their sensitive nature. It falls in the 6th schedule. And also, there are specific conditions in which those states are made. My lord, we are grateful to my lords that they have gave us patient hearing. Honorable Justice Chanchud sir and everyone, I apologize again. I give my best wishes. And I remember Mr. Maithani, then Secretary General. I remember B.K. Bansal, Sanjeev Kangaonkar, and Mr. Atul, the Secretary General, currently working as Secretary General. They all have cooperated with us. I am grateful to everyone that you all attended for this grand function in the honor of, for the farewell of Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Justice M.R. Shah is one of the most hardworking judges that could be seen from the number of judgments would be delivered daily. Looks a tough person in court, but you meet him outside the court. He's such a warm person with amazing sense of humor. And even for this tough person, whenever I would ask him, he would say, this is the reason I just want to encourage the younger member of the bar to argue more matters. Just the matters, I don't want the matters to get adjourned. With this, may I now request Mr. R. Venkataramanilani, Attorney General for India, to deliver his address.
How do we measure a judge by an extempore speech when his judgments gather the innermost thoughts of your mind and vast reaches of jurisprudence? I thought I can speak extempore, but I'm going to fail. So in the afternoon, in the midst of my engagements, I thought, let me scan through some of the judgments and find out if I can make a coherent picture out of the whole person called Justice M.R. Shah. I think, yes, there is an interesting, coherent picture and a beautiful picture. I'm not saying to please him, but as, after all, when we assemble here to celebrate the presence of honorable judges in the Supreme Court, we celebrate it in more than one way. We celebrate it for more than one purpose. And each one of us, there are judges, honorable judges of the Supreme Court, former judges, and learned senior members of the bar here. With all our experiences and being part of this institution, as I said, we celebrate it for a number of reasons. And once we celebrate, the judge who departs, or the judge who comes, carry the reverberations of the celebration, and that's very important. And it becomes an indelible part of their being here, and they go back with how this institution participated in the common pursuit of administration of justice. And therefore, when I say there is a coherent picture, now when my friend Mr. Rai has a basket full of pleasantries and is very good at sharing them, and sometimes they make sense. And I wish I can have some of them with me, but let me look at it slightly differently. I mean, what makes it different to be a decision maker in a legislature or a decision maker in the executive branch? The biggest difference I see and what makes judicial decision-making so complicated is that it is not just about disposition. We all talk about judges and their disposition. I think it is not just about disposition. Judges have to explain publicly what they are doing and why. Providing a rationale is really important. Imagine members of the parliament all having to agree on why they were voting for a particular piece of legislation. Nothing would ever get done. The fact that judges have to state reasons is significant. Chief executive officers of companies sometimes have to state reasons, but very often those reasons are just, I understand, are pretexts. When judges state reasons, those reasons have consequences for the world, for the future litigant public, and for judges down the line. With these three criteria, I just look at 20 judgments in a day. They are as good as a 20-20 play. 20 judgments in a day is not a small story, and 384 judgments. And then these three criteria, I just take a few minutes of a pleasant evening like this to share my great federal camaraderie with Justice Shah, if I put it like that. When I was arguing that Vineet Sharma's matter of a right of a daughter to be a Kopasana, I know which side the wind was blowing. They were appearing for the opposite side. To know which side the wind was blowing is equally important for all of us. But to still present a point of view, I really enjoyed how I picked up an important perspective. All of us have perspectives in a present case in behalf of a client. And we know that the other perspective available with the opposite side, but sometimes important perspectives come very subtly from the bench. And when you're only eager to receive that, then you are a learner, and you are always a learner. So, while with all our understanding of Hindu law and the advancement of jurisprudence in favor of gender justice under the Hindu law, etc., we still miss some points. And that I learned that day when you're trying to argue a matter of interpretation of Section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act. Now we look at the other judgments. I just want to see a graph. These days, some studies are being done about the interdisciplinary understanding of how judges judge. Judge Richard Posner has written a marvelous piece on how judges think. They're interesting studies. Way back in 1918, when Theodor Schroeder, in his psychological study of judicial opinion, after looking at large number of factors, very interestingly says, therefore, according to the analytic psychologists, every judicial opinion amounts to a confession. And confession in the larger sense, not in the sense we see it in criminal jurisprudence. It means beyond disposition, how a judge looks at the world. How a judge looks at the world and try to comprehend the world and change the world through judicial opinions. So when we look at the range of opinions from the Hindu Succession Act, or the Domestic Violence Act, or the death penalty cases, or cases where Justice Shah engaged in an understanding how we deal with 482 as a tool to be used sparingly, I see very, very important trends in the judicial process. And in the forenoon, while we're talking, Chief Justice's court, we talked about the equalizing factor which went on always in his court. So I would like to be always called Mr. Counsel, as Justice Shah always addresses each and every one of us. And we feel very happy about it. So in doing this, these experiences tell me that here we have a 4.5-year tenure of a judge, delivering 20 judgments in a day, and with a certain coherent worldview. Now very often, again, just to go along with those psychological study, two important factors always come to our mind. One is empathy. We want every judge to have an empathy, and while disposition, while adjudicating. We also talk about compassion. We talk about altruism. And but very often it happens while we are swayed by these kinds of very important factors in adjudication and the judicial process. There are subtle ways when your internal experiences also influence your mind. You can swayed by emotion. You can be swayed by other factors. So, but I find that in none of these judgments, that subtle movement away from reason and anchored in clear understanding is visible in Justice Shah's judgments. But sometimes we also feel that an emotion is important, and swayed by emotion is also equally important. We appeal to the sense of emotion of judges in order to not merely get a favorable order, but to see that our clients feel happy about it. So, but in conclusion, I would like to say that here is a coherent picture emerging out of the judgments of Justice Shah, and the Supreme Court is certainly a great benefactor in having this wonderful period of 4.5 years. And I'm sure, sir, that many of us would have cherished our personal moments in appearance in your court, would continue to build on those moments and be part of gathering some of those very nice thoughts and make it integral to our being soldiers of administration of justice. I'm so thankful to you for being with us.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Mr. Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate and President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
My Lord, the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice M.R. Shah, Honorable Judges of this Court, Justice Subhash Reddy and Justice Ashok Bhushan, former judges of this Court, family members of Justice M.R. Shah, Learned Attorney General for India, Shri R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Solicitor General for India, Shri Tushar Mehta, law officers of the Government of India, members of the Executive Committee of SCBA, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President SCORA, members of the Executive Committee of SCORA, members of the bar, and ladies and gentlemen. Today we have all gathered to give farewell to one of our judges, Justice M.R. Shah, who after completing 4.5 years in Supreme Court is retiring today. Justice M.R. Shah is very blessed to have his father, 93-year-old, mother, 88-year-old, watching this event today, of course, on YouTube. Because of their ill health, they couldn't come here. But watching this very great moment of the journey of his son, by first seeing him how he was a lawyer, then he became a High Court judge, and came to this highest court and demitting office here today. Not many people have this privilege of having such parents, blessed to have such parents to be able to witness this journey. Justice M.R. Shah's journey is a very inspiring journey for especially the first generation lawyers and also the young lawyers of this country. His father started off as a clerk of an advocate, and he did his graduation while doing that job. He did his law while doing that job. He got enrolled after he completed his law and started a law practice. Then he taught his son. He sent him to a law school. His son passed out from a law school and became a lawyer. He mentored him till he became a judge. And the day Justice M.R. Shah took oath, his father gave up work. He said, now I will not come to court anymore, and he retired that very day. It's such an exemplary action on his part that I feel that it is commendable, that this high moral fabric and this high standards being maintained by anybody as far as mentoring his son is concerned, and then giving up his lucrative practice when his son gets elevated. Justice M.R. Shah was a retainer for government, led several government departments, for the CBI, for the municipalities, for insurance companies, and several other companies, and had a flourishing practice in Ahmedabad. It is credit to the collegium system that Justice B.C. Patel, who was the number 3rd judge at that point of time, called Justice M.R. Shah one day and said that we are thinking of elevating you. And even before he could answer, he says, don't say no. I don't want to hear a no. So really, Justice Shah had no choice. Because if Justice Patel said that he will not hear a no, there was no reason of saying anything to him. So he walked out from there, and Justice Sinha, who was from the Allahabad High Court, the Chief Justice there, recommended his name for elevation to the High Court. Justice D.S. Sinha. Justice Shah was a tough judge in many ways, and we have all faced the brunt of his toughness. But most of the time, I have realized that his toughness used to be when people sought an unnecessary adjournment in a file which he had thoroughly read, or when he found lawyers not prepared with the matter. He may have had fixed views on a large number of issues, especially on criminal side or on the land acquisition side. But the real merit of the person is the kind of hard work he did in reading all the files before him from page to page. One of the clients in the High Court had made a misstatement in the petition. And since he had the habit of reading the entire petition, he noticed that misstatement. So he was extremely angry and he said, "You made a false statement." He not only dismissed the petition, he imposed cost of 10,000 rupees. Later on, when he reached home, he realized that cost he has imposed, but the client was a lady widow who could not afford that cost. So he took the trouble of calling that lawyer and say, "Please come and mention, although you didn't ask for reducing the cost, but please mention tomorrow. I feel that this will be a little harsh for your client," because lawyer obviously will not play. That's the soft side of Justice M.R. Shah. He had a client who paid him a very paltry sum of 500 rupees as an advance, and this he disclosed, I believe, today in the Skora room, that he gave for 500 rupees and got the bail, and then he was not ready to pay the balance. He initially said, "I'll not give you the order till you pay the balance." He came after having sold his jewelry and said, "This is your balance fees." He said, No, I don't want this money with your jewelry being sold. You take back the money," and gave him the order without that. That's Justice M.R. Shah. People know the tough side. People don't know the soft side of Justice M.R. Shah. I have appeared before him. We have had some tough moments, but I have felt that he never took it to heart. It was never that what had happened on one day will reflect in his dealing with a brief of the same lawyer the next day. But sometimes, because of his views were being fixed, people tried to avoid his court. And I can say something, I can disclose with, today now, because today is his retirement day, that 1 week before, there was a land acquisition matter where I was briefed to appear before him. My client was extremely apprehensive of what is going to happen. Similarly, I was also sure what was going to happen. The matter did not reach. So when the matter did not reach, normally we don't charge. But my client insisted to pay. He was so happy, he said, "Matter has not reached." So this is something, because he said at least he'll get a new judge, at least there may be a fresh hearing, there may be a different view. So he insisted and paid that, "No sir, I'm so happy that even if it has not reached, you must take this fees from me." So those are the tricks that lawyers do, and he used to obviously understand those tricks, and he used to, cut short people and, chide them if they unnecessarily sought adjournment. Because, and I feel justified in what he used to do sometimes, although maybe not so harshly. I would have not expected him to do it harshly, but basically he had read the file so thoroughly. He knew the brief backward, probably more than what the lawyer appearing before him did. So he felt that this time that I have spent on this brief should not be wasted by just an unnecessary adjournment that is being, taken in the matter. And I tell you, we all know this, when a judge is ready and he would not grant an adjournment, normally lawyers come prepared. They know Justice S.B. Sinha was one of them, Justice M.R. Shah is one of them. You know that it can't get an adjournment easily. So you have to be prepared and you have to come. And that's what I appreciate him for the hard work that he did as a judge. Justice M.R. Shah was Chief Justice in Patna, which is my hometown, for a very short tenure. Apart from what he did in the High Court of converting the clinic into a full-fledged hospital, of starting the e-stamping facility for the first time, of the physical verification of all the pending briefs, because they were showing up very high pendency, and when you got a physical verification done, the pendency came down because lots of matters which were disposed of, or there were no files, or ghost matters were pending the statistics. So he got all that removed and got that done, and all this, mind you, in 2 months. But for me, there is a personal benefit. There is a road in Patna called Boring Road, where I have my house. And that Boring Road had too much of encroachment. The roundabout was heavily, encroached by all kinds of people. He got that encroachment removed. He got there was a small temple, proper place for that temple was made. He also cleaned up the Patna University hostel, which was occupied by antisocial elements, and ensured that only bona fide students will stay in the hostel. And that was a great thing, because that hostel was, I'm of that university. That hostel had elements who were there for years and years together and would not vacate, happen what may. So as Chief Justice in those 2 months, he got the hostels vacated, and he got ensured that only bona fide students stayed there. Justice Shah has a daughter who's an architect, who's not a lawyer, so probably he's a second generation lawyer, a first generation judge. But in his direct family, there is no other lawyer now. So that way, he played cricket until college. Of course, now as a judge, he didn't have time to devote for that. He has also been a part of very, very important judgments. He had, in the pandemic time, dealt with a lot of sensitivity, the issues relating to the pandemic and how relief should be given, both economic and otherwise, to the people. And of course, Chief Justice of India was also, Justice Chandrachud was also dealing with the pandemic, and he also ensured that vaccines come and are delivered to everybody free of cost. And actually, the nation as a whole should be indebted to them for this exemplary work, because we've come out of this pandemic only for this part. Of course, I'm not trying to in any manner belittle what the government has done, but this supportive role which the Supreme Court played in this whole exercise is exemplary. Of course, he's been party to this recent judgment of this Delhi Lieutenant Governor's matter, or the Maharashtra political case. He was also very sensitive to all POSCO cases. He also was very, sensitive to the permanent commission being granted in the army, and he also, chided the army for the flawed process of, that superficial equality which they had. He had a very unique way of looking at things. Because of the depth of his knowledge and the amount of hard work that he had put in on a brief, he had a different dimension to the brief, and which was, of course, very refreshing, because, and that's the reason why you've just been told that the disposal that he has done has been so high because of all this hard work that he's done all this while. I, on behalf of the association, would like to wish Justice Shah a very, very good, happy retired life. Unfortunately, his wife is not here today because she had to be with his parents, and to ensure, and that's the reason why most of the time she was there in Ahmedabad. In fact, once I remember I met her at a dinner, she was limping a little bit. So I said, "Is there a case of domestic violence? Do you want me to do something?" She said, No, it happened in Ahmedabad. He was in Delhi. There's nothing like that, don't worry. So it's she was there all the time, and but has been a great pillar of strength for Justice Shah, and we definitely wish him all the very best. And I hope he'll be here. I'm told he's going to be here in Delhi for some time, so we will have the benefit of his guidance whenever we want, and we hope that he'll also be doing some good work, even post-retirement, which will benefit the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas sir. One thing is there, he would have, Justice Shah would have read all his briefs, all 50-60 briefs so thoroughly in his court. And for young lawyers, it was always, because of no adjournment, was great opportunity. We do invite all the honorable judges to meet members of the bar informally on a Monday, Friday. So when he came to meet, in fact, every young lawyer would have met. He said, "You argue matter very well." He would address them by name. Keep on doing like that. So he was very encouraging for the younger members of the bar. He had a health issue last year. So when I would meet him, I said, "Sir, why don't you go for a walk at least for half an hour, 45 minutes?" He said, "No, I will. Right now, my responsibility is this. Let me just finish this. After that, I'll." So he was not bothering even for his health for last 1 year. And judgments were still coming, as it were, before that incident. May I now request Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchur, Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his address.
Brother Justice M.R. Shah, or as I call him every morning, Tiger Shah. members of the family of Brother Shah, his friends who are in the audience, my sister and brother judges, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General, Mr. Vikas Singh, President of the SCBA, Mr. Pradeep Rai, Vice President, Office Bearers of the SCBA, including Mr. Rahul Kaushik, members of the bar, officers of the registry, and ladies and gentlemen. It was an emotional morning for me as well, apart from for Mukesh Bhai, coming off the ceremonial bench. I had begun the emotional ride, so to speak, when I was talking to him 2 days ago in the morning, when I said that, I'm misty-eyed when I'm thinking of the fact that you're going to be demitting office. So he said, but well, this is the way of life and we all have to get used to these ideas. But significantly, even on the ceremonial bench today, he was as ready with the last matter as he would have been 2 years back or 3 years back when we were sitting in the court together. I was much faster than usual because I was sitting with Brother M.R. Shah. And as we got off, I said, now I'll pretend to be M.R. Shah so that I can run through the rest of my board with ease by lunch, which was not to be. I was back to my usual self, slow and steady. My first engagement with Justice M.R. Shah was in 1998, a couple of years before I became a judge of the Bombay High Court, when I happened to be engaged as Solicitor General, Additional Solicitor General of India in the Gujarat High Court. And we were both going to appear together. We were appearing for the government. And I realized when I landed in the court that I had forgotten my gown in Mumbai. And it was just about 2 minutes before the court was to assemble. So he was not one to be unfazed, and he is never unfazed with events in life. So he just caught hold of his junior, who happened to be a young woman lawyer, and said, please hand over your gown, he has to wear, the Additional Solicitor General has to wear the gown. I'm not sure whether the gown was lucky or otherwise, but at least the matter was attended to by both of us. From his early years as a lawyer in the 1980s, where he handled a variety of litigation, civil, criminal, service, labor, and after more than 2 decades of practice, he became a judge of the Gujarat High Court. While serving as a judge of the Gujarat High Court, that's when he really picked up his grounding foundations, so to speak. He spearheaded various initiatives as a judge to take legal services to the grassroots and emerged as the stellar judge that he is today. As executive chairperson of the Gujarat State Legal Services Authority, he promoted an inclusive legal system to secure justice. He marshaled awareness campaigns across the state of Gujarat, particularly in backward regions such as Banaskantha and Dahod. In 2018, Brother was elevated as the Chief Justice of the Patna High Court after serving for nearly 14 long years as a judge. Now, Justice Shah is not an MBA, as they say in Gujarati. In Gujarat, MBA means Mane Badu Avde Che, which translates to, roughly speaking, I know everything. But when you are a judge of the Supreme Court, you have no choice but to know everything. If you speak to Justice Shah, you will realize that he can strike a conversation with you on almost any topic under the sun, from global affairs to the latest movies. He will discuss the plot of a movie with you and even criticize it for bad screenplay or direction. Once I asked him, when does he find time to watch the movies at all? And in his own inimitable style, he said, I only read about the movies and the reviews in the newspapers. He's always eager to learn and assimilate the newer ways of life. We came together to share the bench during COVID times. Those are very difficult times. Every morning we would assemble in our respective offices at home at 10 o'clock because we knew we couldn't be discussing matters in the court sitting next to each other. And we didn't have the breakout facility on the video conferencing platform in the initial few days. But between 10 and 10:30, both of us would sit down and go through the entire cause list and the entire board and decide prima facie what we felt about the matter. Of course, we had not decided what we'll ultimately do, but we shared that 1/2 an hour trying to discuss what the issues in the case were, each case were. What I found in Brother Shah was this eagerness to write. Every time I even offered that maybe he could scribe a judgment, he was more than happy to write a judgment. But one of the best compliments, believe you me, I've received in the last 7 years, and it's been exactly 7 years on the 13th for me since I became a judge of this court. One of the best compliments which he gave me was at the end of the sitting, when he said that, I've learned one thing from you, that's the ability to suss out which cases should be converted into causes and to write to evolve the law. And it's not necessarily the big cases in which you do that, but the smaller cases which you sort of evolve. But I have learned so much from him. He would return every draft which I sent him overnight. Rarely did a draft rest on his brief overnight. I was surprised that even the Constitution bench judgment in the Maharashtra case recently was returned to me in less than 48 hours with an annotation at the bottom. He would prepare a judgment as quickly. He rarely took more than 48 hours to even write his own judgment, which he returned to you so promptly. In 2021, when I began sharing the bench with Justice Shah, by then I had adopted a paperless mode of working and was using a laptop for reading cases, all the case files, and making my own notes. Justice Shah was still using hard copies of the files he was accustomed to then. I tried to persuade him to start using a laptop and an iPad for his judicial work, and it is really a credit to his receptive and sporting nature, both receptive and sporting to my mind, that he was open to learning technology and using it to access case files and documents. It was due to the cooperation of Justice M.R. Shah and my other sister and brother judges that we were able to conduct paperless court proceedings in the recently concluded Constitution bench matters. He on my right and Justice Krishna Murari on my left, they were furious in their work speed on their respective laptops. In fact, Justice Krishna Murari seemed to suggest that he was still good for another 6 Constitution bench judgments on the electronic form. Justice M.R. Shah was, of course, all set on his laptop. Justice Shah has the courage and the fighting spirit of a lion. Last year, all of us were rather worried when his health deteriorated during his trip to Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. When I called to inquire about his health, I was pretty shaken up because I could only hear the sirens of the car which was escorting him to the airport. But I heard at the other end of the line his familiarly chirpy and energetic voice informing me that he was fine and that there was nothing to worry. Justice Shah recovered soon enough and was back doing his judicial work when the court resumed for the term. Justice Shah has truly inspired us all by exhibiting an unwavering commitment to the cause of justice. Mukesh Bhai has an amazing sense of humor, which I'm sure all of you have either witnessed or participated in. He has the unique ability to look at the humorous side of life. His funny quips and anecdotes lighten the courtroom atmosphere even during the dark days of the second wave of the COVID pandemic. I've had the opportunity to share the bench with him on several occasions now. Many a time when we were in the midst of lengthy and dull proceedings in the courtroom, it was his wit that enlivened the courtroom. I remember one particular incident when we had both been rather upset with the poor printing quality of the impugned judgment which was circulated to us by the advocate on record, with the watermarks which were then used by most high courts. So I blurted it out and I said I had such a headache reading this 150-page judgment. And then in his own style he said, you at least had a headache. My headache would not even disappear with tiger balm, which I used last night. All for the entertainment of the lawyers. In fact, after our bench broke up, I got a handwritten note from one of the journalists who does the beat reporting in the Supreme Court that, sir, the entertainment bench in the Supreme Court has just been concluded. At the Supreme Court, Justice Shah has had a notable career. During his tenure, Justice Shah has played a crucial role in delivering justice in a speedy and efficient manner. He has been pivotal in laying down jurisprudence in matters of criminal law and procedure, arbitration, taxation, service, family law. You just name the area of law and his imprint will be found on that branch in the last several years. As a judge, he was a part of many important cases, including constitution benches, as we know, in Indore Development Authority, and the recently concluded Delhi NCT and Maharashtra matters. He himself authored the decision of the Constitution Bench in West UP Sugar Mills Association. As his colleagues at the Supreme Court, all of us have benefited from Justice Shah's kind nature and generosity. When we were both sitting in the flank courts, court number 9, 10 and onwards, which very fondly are referred to as the Noida courts by the judges, on our way back from the Noida courts, he would always make me wait at 1 o'clock near his chamber, and he had a bowl of M&M chocolates, and he would put a fistful of chocolates into my hand and say, now you can go to your chamber. I still have to send him the bill for the weight which was never shed. But Justice M.R. Shah's entry into the collegium on 9th November 2022 coincided with my own appointment as Chief Justice of India on that day. He entered the collegium simultaneously with my assumption of office. He has been a solid colleague for me in the collegium, full of practical wisdom, full of advice, full of very mature, grounded and middle-of-the-road advice. Sometimes how to tackle others, whether on this side or the other side. But he was full of excellent advice, which helped us very greatly when we made the first 7 appointments, almost in a short span of time. Today I stand here to bid farewell not only to a colleague, but to my dear friend as well. Mukesh Bhai, we will miss your candor, humor and wit on the bench. But more importantly, we will miss a colleague who was our constant source of support and encouragement. I will always cherish the great memories that I shared with Justice Shah, both on and off the bench. Justice M.R. Shah is a devoted son, a devoted father to Vihangi, but above all, a devoted spouse. I personally know about the solicitous care and affection with which he looks after the welfare of his father and mother. Never is there a conversation between us when we don't speak about his parents. But I must also recognize the important role played by his spouse, Dimpi Shah, who gave up her time in his company in Delhi over the last 4 years to be in Ahmedabad to look after his parents. Their house in Niti Bagh, not our Niti Bagh here, but the Niti Bagh in Ahmedabad, is an oasis of warmth, friendship and positivity. When his daughter Vihangi was to get married recently, Justice Shah was not the one to allow his work as a judge of the Supreme Court to suffer. He managed to look after all the personal details of the ceremonies as the father of the bride without compromising on his own dedication to work as a judge. When his spouse was to recently undergo a knee replacement surgery, Justice Shah was zipping in and out of Ahmedabad to be with her at a crucial time, consistent with the workload in the Supreme Court. Years ago, we traveled together to St. Petersburg with Chief Justice Gogoi and Justice Ramana and our spouses for an international conference. It was a sheer pleasure to spend several days in the company of this wonderful couple. But above all, it was really interesting because his favorite takiya kalam, as you all know, all of you know what our takiya kalams are. His favorite takiya kalam is correct. Before I conclude, I would like to quote the following words which have been sung by one of my favorite singers, I know he's not a very great lover of Western music, but I am, and I can't avoid making a reference to Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan says in one of those beautiful words which have been sung by him, "When the winds of changes shift, may your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung, and may you stay forever young. May you stay forever young." So Justice Shah, may you stay forever young. Or closer home, in the words of Ubaidullah Aleem, may I say, Mukesh Bhai, आँख से दूर सही, दिल से कहाँ जाएगा? आँख से दूर सही, दिल से कहाँ जाएगा? जाने वाले तू हमें याद बहुत आएगा. Mukesh Bhai, I would like to thank you on behalf of the legal fraternity for your contributions to the legal profession during your tenure as a judge of the Supreme Court in particular. I wish you good health and happiness. I would also like to thank and congratulate your family, friends, staff, and law clerks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We got to know different facets of Justice Shah's personality. With this, may I now request Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court, to kindly address the gathering.
Namaskar. Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, my esteemed colleagues, sister and brother judges, Shri Vikas Singh, President of Supreme Court Bar Association and Senior Advocate, Shri Pradeep Rai, Shri Rahul, Office Bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association, my esteemed earlier colleagues, Justice Ashok Bhujan, Justice Subhash Reddy ji, Shri R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Shri Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, law officers, Learned senior advocates, Learned young advocates, members of the bar, my own family members, members of the registry. First of all, I am grateful to the office bearers of the Supreme Court Bar Association and the members of the bar for organizing this affectionate farewell on my diminishing the office as a judge of the Supreme Court. Time flies very fast. I just recollect the day on which I was elevated to the Supreme Court and my first day as a Supreme Court judge on 2/11/2018. Prior thereto, I never entered the Supreme Court except once earlier. Everything was new to me. The environment was new. The system was new. The procedure was different than the High Court. My esteemed colleagues, with whom I shared the benches, taught me everything. I learned a lot from all of you. It feels that I have just entered the Supreme Court only a few days back. Time has run very fast. I feel that before the flight has just taken off, the time to land has come. Before I could settle on the seat in the flight, there is an announcement that flight is likely to land, and that landing has come today. Parting is always painful. I'll part the company of all my brother and sister judges and above all, the members of the bar, with heavy heart and with tears in my eyes. But everybody has to go one day. When I came to the Supreme Court, today's date was certain to come, but still, I feel that that day has come very fast. However, what is important in life is how you lived your life during your journey. Maybe a short journey. My journey from court number 13 to court number 4. My journey from Noida to Delhi. My journey from House of Commons to House of Lords. Because we were sitting on that side and we were considering as House of Commons. And on this side, when senior judges, honorable judges were sitting in the lounge, we were considering as House of Lords. I enjoyed the House of Commons and the Noida like anything. I used to share every day one joke before going to the courtroom. And that was the success of all of us, that at 10:30, when we were entering the court, the atmosphere was very light. I enjoyed everything, correct, as a Supreme Court judge. I have no regrets. I have performed my duties as a judge without fear and favor and ill will. I have tried to do justice to the common man and the litigant who is waiting for his turn. I always try to put myself into the shoes of those unfortunate litigants who are waiting for their turn for getting the justice. Whenever I perform my duties as a judge, on the back of my mind, there was only a litigant in my mind, and to see to it that justice is done at the earliest. During that journey, if I hurt the feelings of anybody, even unknowingly, more particularly by not granting any adjournment, I say sorry to all of them. But believe that whatever I have done for the cause, and I have done for the common man and the litigant. Neither there was any ill will, nor any intention to hurt anybody's feelings. At this stage, I would like to emphasize on timely and speedy justice, which is the fundamental right guaranteed under the Constitution of India, which shall not be only speedy justice, but it should be a cost-effective also. Try to appreciate and feel the difficulties faced by those litigants who come to the court with high hopes and treat the court as a temple of justice and treat the judges as next to the God. Therefore, as a part of the institution as a whole, it is the duty of everybody that there shall be timely delivery justice. Therefore, it is a request to get out of the adjournment culture and do not ask for any unnecessary adjournment. Try to put yourself in the shoes of those who are coming to the court with great hopes. Try to do justice to them too. My another advice to the young lawyers is not to become the mentioning or adjournment counsel. Prepare yourself in the matter. Even if you have to ask for adjournment, you should read the papers, note the facts, prepare yourself as if you have to argue the matter. By that you will learn how to prepare the matter. Please do not waste your time in the barroom and or the canteen. Whenever you get the time, you be in the courtroom so that you can know the manner etiquettes, decorum to be maintained in the courtroom. Learn something good from the seniors. Know thy judges. Do the hard work. There is no alternative to the hard work. I am an example of hard work, sheer hard work, and the labor. Be frank in life. Be transparent. Honesty and integrity always pay in life. Life is an echo. What you will give back. Give respect, earn respect. Always have a faith in the God. Whatever is happening to you, consider it as God's planning. God must have always planned good for you. Therefore, do not be disappointed by what is happening. Consider it as a challenge. Accept it and face it with all your efforts and integrity, and one day you will get the success. I have performed my duties as a judge with fullest satisfaction. I have played my innings very well. I have always followed my conscience and I have acted as per the conscience. I have always believed in God and karma. I have never expected any result. I have continued to perform my duties and I have followed the Gita. Do your work without expecting anything. God will take care of everything. When I became the judge of the High Court, it was never in my mind that someday I will become the Chief Justice of the High Court or the Supreme Court of India. I had worked very hard with honesty and integrity. God always helped me whenever and wherever I was in trouble. I have also faced some problems somewhere, but by the grace of God, I have faced all the problems successfully. Only last year, I suffered a heart attack. But by the grace of God and the best wishes of all of you, I could get out of that problem within 5 days and started my life again. It is nothing but your love, affection, and best wishes and the God's grace. Therefore, I always emphasize that believe in God, perform your duties, and rest, leave it to the God. While parting, I will be failing in my duty if I do not say thanks to all my brother and sister judges with whom I sat the benches and I have learned so many things from them. They are Justice A.K. Sikri, Justice Arun Mishra, Chief Justice, Honorable Chief Justice, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Justice Ashok Bhushan, Justice Subhas Reddy, Justice B.V. Nagaratna, and lastly, Justice C.T. Ravi Kumar. I can never forget all of them in my life. With their fullest support and the encouragement, I was able to perform my duties successfully. I will be parting with full satisfaction. I am only completing 65 years, only. I am just retiring today from an organization. Retiring from an organization just means that your work there is done. It does not mean that you should give up work. Now it will be perfect time to focus on things which I could not do while performing my duties as a judge and in delivering lots of judgments. I may tell you, I have lost so many things during this journey as a judge, but I have no regret because I have done something for the society and the nation at large. it is now time to rediscover and reinvest myself. I will be playing fourth innings of my life. First innings I played prior to I became an advocate. Second innings I played while at the bar as a lawyer. Third innings I played as a judge of the High Court as well as the Chief Justice of the Patna High Court and as a judge of the Supreme Court. Now I will be playing fourth innings of my life post 65 years. I am lucky that I will be playing the fourth innings. Normally all of you must have seen 2 innings, but I will be playing the fourth innings because of the grace of the God and my blessings of my parents who are still with me, and because of the grace of the God, I had an opportunity, I am getting the opportunity to serve them even at this stage also. I am thankful to my wife, Dimpy, who has sacrificed like anything. Thank you very much for all your support, love and affection during my journey in the Supreme Court. I'll cherish these wonderful days during my tenure as a Supreme Court judge. Before I parting, when Justice Chandrachud and Pradeep Rai said something, I also should say something. I would like to say something what Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee said once. I quote, जो कल थे वे आज नहीं है, जो आज है वे कल नहीं होंगे, होने न होने का क्रम इसी तरह चलता रहेगा, हम हैं हम रहेंगे, यह भ्रम भी सदा चलता रहेगा. Once again, thanks for this wonderful evening and giving memorable farewell, which I treat as a parting gift. My speech seems, according to me, I feel it that it was a precise, and I have not taken much time. I was precise in speech like my judgments too. May God bless all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Justice Shah is a very emotional person. He looks a very tough person, but he is otherwise a very emotional person. He spoke from the heart with his sense of humor. And he always said the endeavor is for the justice to the common man. And the advice which he gave for the young lawyers, that be sincere to your profession. He's a fighter in life. With his 5 days of his medical problem, he was back to work. And we wish you a very successful 4th innings of your life, sir. With this, may I now request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, and Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Vice President SCBA, to kindly present a memento to Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court. Now I'll read out the message given by Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, Judge Supreme Court, for the members of the bar. In the justice delivery system, bar and bench play a very important role. Both are said to be the 2 wheels of the same chariot of justice. Timely justice is the need of the day. Unless a litigant gets the timely justice, there shall not be any rule of law, and that the people may lose faith in the justice delivery system. Without the support of the members of the bar, the judiciary may not be able to achieve their goal of timely justice. I am very happy to acknowledge the efforts made by the members of the SCBA to enhance the faith of the people in the justice delivery system and the institution as a whole. I am thankful to the senior members and junior members of the SCBA who have always supported me. I congratulate the members of the bar, more particularly the young members of the bar who are the future of the nation. I have always found the members of the SCBA meticulous and precise in submissions and always well prepared. I thank each member of the SCBA for their full support during my tenure as a judge of the Supreme Court. I pray God to continue to bless in carrying forward the proud glory of SCBA. Thank you, sir, for such kind and encouraging words for the members of the bar. With this, may I now request Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary, SCBA, to kindly give vote of thanks.
Thank you, Rahul. We are grateful to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, for accepting our invitation for presiding the function. We thank Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah, the Supreme Court of India, and his family members for accepting our invitation to attend this function. We thank Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Retired Judges of Supreme Court of India for gracing the occasion. We thank Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Learned Law Officers, senior members and members of the bar, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President SCORA, Mr. Sinhasis Mukherjee, Vice President SCORA, Mr. Devbrat, Secretary SCORA, Mr. Atul Kurherkar, Learned Secretary General, and other registrars of the Supreme Court of India, and the staff of Supreme Court Bar Association, press, journalists, print and electronic media, other office bearers and members of the Executive Committee of different bar associations, other distinguished guests, and respected members of the bar for gracing the occasion. I request members of the Executive Committee to join for the group photographs.
इससे पहले फोटो खींचना चाहिए। धीरज तू गया नहीं